Hey, greetings everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Plan B Success. As many of you know, I recently launched my Top Podcast Mastery program, and as a part of that, last week I was talking to a few coaches that were getting started. These were coaches in different arenas, different areas, and they were looking to get started with their own podcasts. So as a part of that, I was talking to them about how to launch their podcast. So they all had my free resource, the free ebook that I had created around podcasting, and they're all jumped on the Top Podcast Mastery program in order to get started on it. So as a part of that, what I had done was had set up a 1-hour call with all of them where we discussed several things. And one topic really stood out, and that was about their brand. How do I create a unique brand for myself? How do I differentiate myself from everyone else out there? How do I make sure I am top of mind for my kind of clients, my kind of leads? Those were the questions that came up. Today, what I want to do is delve a little deeper into the topic of brand DNA. I'll get into what brand DNA is in a minute, but before that, let me also tell you that there was some major confusion around mission, vision, and values of a business or of yourself as a person who's trying to represent and create a personal brand. And we'll also get into all of that. So let's start with understanding what a brand is all about. What is a brand? And you might say when we talk about a brand, what comes to mind first is probably a logo of a company that you like. For instance, Nike, when we talk about sports, Coca-Cola, when we talk about soft drinks, things like those. But more importantly, a brand is what represents or rather burns a company's image into our heads. A strong brand distinguishes itself from its competition, and it acts as a mark of consistency and quality in our mind, and ensures that everyone who looks at the company from that standpoint understand it and are able to feel one with it. So brand is about creating this perception of value within a consumer's mind. However, without it being defined properly or managed or communicated, it can create a confusion. It may not be consistent and as a result fail to make impact on the people, on the leads and the clients that it should. That's generally what we understand of a brand as we know it. But let's take a step back and look at our own selves. As humans or as all living things, each of us is unique. And even though we are all human beings, each of us as an individual is also unique. We have our own DNA, our own hereditary information that makes each one of us very, very unique. You and I may be two guys, but we are very different and very unique, although there are many commonalities between the two of us. Same thing goes with a brand. You could say, in a world of coaches, everybody is a coach. How do you differentiate two different coaches? Perhaps they're appealing to the same clientele. Perhaps they're going after entrepreneurs. Perhaps they're going after students. Perhaps they're going after professionals. Perhaps they have similar products and services. How do you differentiate between the two? Well, that's where brand DNA comes into play. Brand DNA is the sum of all those values that are considered the brand of that particular business or person, and that forms the brand core of that person. Now, those specific characteristics associated with that person or business are just like the genetic material that we talked about of a living creature, and they must be unique and clearly defined. They must be condensed into creating a core representation of the business or the person so that when you think of a certain thing, you immediately think of that business or that person. Just like I said, in case of sports, the Nike symbol comes into mind. That's a brand. When we talk about cell phones, probably Apple comes into mind. That's the brand DNA that they have. So what's the purpose of this brand DNA? Well, for one, it increases the credibility of the business or the person, so it makes it that much more easier to attract leads, retain clients, and create repeat customers as well. A brand's personality creates a very clear identity for the business or the person, which is especially essential for that particular business to thrive. And in order to manage a brand successfully, it's crucial that its DNA is recognizable and is spread across everything that that business does. Coming back to the question of you and I may both be selling the same type of product or service, yet we are different brands. We have our own DNA, our own style, our own pluses and minuses in terms of the client's eye. Your brand's DNA is always going to be different from everyone else, even if you're in the same business, even if you have the same products and services. The most important factor of a brand is going to be its background story. Who are you? What are you? Why are you where you are? Where did you start? And what experiences did you have over a period of time that got you to be in the position that you're in right now? And what experiences do you want to share with those around you, your leads and your clients? And that's what forms the core of your business. So that background story becomes very, very important, and that's where the DNA starts becoming unique. Because everybody has their own story. And there's a core group of minimum viable audience that actually aligns with that story. And those are the people that become your brand followers. Those are the people that become your clients at the end of the day. Now, we're not talking marketing and advertising and PR at this point. We're talking the core brand DNA that you need to establish. You need to understand what your own unique background story is. You need to extract what you want to convey from that story, your values, your aspirations, at the same time, what you are ready to give to your leads and clients. So that crystallizes from that background story, and that needs to be weaved into everything that you do with your brand. The products and services that you create, the PR that you do, the advertising that you do, how you approach your leads and clients, how you talk to them, everything will reflect your background story, your own unique value. And that's important to understand. Next, everything else is dependent on that background story, that unique proposal that you have in place, whether it's your products and services, whether it's your price point of your products and services, what you're doing within the community in terms of benefiting the community, what markets are you going after? Are you going after a broad market versus a niche market? What kind of quality are you providing with your products and services? Everything else is very much dependent on that unique DNA that you bring to the fore. And that's where the birth of your mission statement comes into play. Based on your background story, what is your mission statement? What have you experienced in life so far? How are you translating that into your products and services, your offerings? Based on that comes your mission. And what are you trying to communicate as a part of your mission statement? To give you a few examples, one mission could be you are in the business of enabling people and businesses to realize their full potential. That's a viable mission for a good coach. At the same time, another mission could be you're in the business of enriching people's lives with your products and services in order to inform them, educate them, and then help them grow their own businesses. That's a unique mission as well. When you look at these two missions, or these two mission statements that I just talked about, there's a uniqueness to both of them, although the products and services might be similar. One is in the business of enabling people to realize their full potential. Another is in the business of informing them, educating them, and helping them grow their businesses. There's a slight demarcation in terms of what they're both out to do, but it's from a different angle that they're looking at it. That's what makes that mission statement unique in each of these cases. And then that background story that we talked about that forms the brand DNA, that overlaps on this mission statement, that reflects itself on this mission statement in order to show what you are out to do for your clients. And then the clients that understand it, assimilate it, and see themselves as one with your mission statement and your story, they become your clients. The leads that see themselves as one with this story, they become your clients. And those that do not, they go elsewhere. And then the values that you bring to the table. What do you care about? What are you trying to communicate to the world out there, to your leads, to your clients out there? Whether it's good customer service or whether it's being in service, providing consistent and constant value in order to see them move from point A to point B. Are you being realistic with your values? Are you being too optimistic, too broad? All of these come into play in terms of creating those values, and they again need to be in line with your background story and with your mission statement. It's about how you want to function, and don't keep it too broad, don't keep it too high. Get granular with your values, get granular where people can recognize that yes, these are the values I need in order to overcome my obstacles and get to where I want to be. Whether it's professionalism, whether it's excellence in creativity, whether it's enlightenment, innovation, whatever your values are, they need to reflect through in order to show that you are headed in the right direction and you want to take others along with you. And then the design elements of your visual representation of your brand goes back to colors, goes back to what do you want your logo to look like, goes back to what is the message that you're passing through your visual representation. That becomes very, very important as you come up with your design. It's like a flag of a country, right? When you look at a flag of a country, you can explain it. Well, your logo should be explainable as well and in line with your mission statement, with your background story, and what you're out to offer the world. And then the tone that you take with everything that you write or say. Are you coming across as an expert? Are you coming across as a friend? Are you coming across as a coach who understands the pain of going through certain things in order to come out successful on the other end? That will be visible. Are you being professional in your approach or friendly? Are you being confident or reserved? All of these things come through in terms of how you interact with your leads and clients. And then your products and services too. Your products and services, you might say, my product is the same as this other person's product, but not necessarily so. You have to make it unique based on your story, based on the brand value that you want to create. There are so many coaches out there in the world. When we talk about a coach, how many do you remember? There's only a few names that you remember. One, either they've done a great job of marketing themselves over the years. Two, you've actually experienced some of their services and you're in love with it. And how does that happen? That happens because you align with their brand value. So that's where you differentiate your products and services in terms of making a meaningful difference, taking them to the goal that your leads and clients are looking to attain. So those are generally the elements of your brand DNA, and the more focus you put on them, the more you keep thinking about them, and the more you ingrain them or weave them in your products and services, the more successful you're going to be. What are your values? What's your vision? Where do you want to go? Where do you want to take your clients with you? What's your mission? Who are you out to help? How does your story get them excited to follow you? All of these things together form that brand DNA that you need to construct. People talk about creating a client avatar. Absolutely. You need to know who your ideal client is, but more importantly, you need to introspect and know who you truly are, what do you have to offer, and how does that help solve somebody else's problem in order to get them to follow you, in order to attract their attention, in order to make sure that they're in line with you, they trust you in order to help them get over their hurdles and become successful. That's the strength of your brand, and that's the uniqueness of your brand DNA. Hey, I hope you liked that episode. I hope you found some value in terms of what your brand is and what your brand DNA is or could be. Do check out my website, rajivmudumba.com. And by the way, do check out Top Podcast Mastery Program that's out there on the website. And if you're interested in podcasting, if you're interested in creating a brand image for who you are and what you have to offer, definitely check that course out. I'm sure it's going to provide you immense value, and it'll cut short your journey of researching podcasts by the weeks into a couple of hours to get started and moving on. Thank you very much.